Back here on CBS Sports HQ, we are 1 week away from Selection Sunday. I love that because it's one of my favorite times of the year. And with that, we bring in CBS Sports senior college basketball writer Matt Norlander and Bracketology expert Jerry Palm for winners and losers. And we're all winners. We know that. But I want to know from both of y'all, who are your winners from Saturday's crazy college basketball fest, man?
Well, listen, it's March. I'm not reducing myself to one answer, so I'm going to give you three here. My first one is seeing the Missouri Valley get its best possible matchup, and CBS getting the best possible matchup for that automatic bid in Arch Madness on Sunday. You had Indiana State take care of business, not make it remotely close, and then for Drake to come back from a 14-point deficit. That is going to be an awesome, awesome affair. And either team that wins the auto bid, they will be a very trendy, darling pick to win at least a game in the tournament. I'm also going to give some shine to Morehead State, a winner because literally won its way into the field. Right now, as we curl towards Sunday, there is one bid spoken out of 68, and that is for the Morehead State Eagles. Preston Spradlin, still just 37 years old, getting that program to the big dance for the second time. And then I'll stick in Kentucky. The Kentucky Wildcats are a very big winner for me. So a mainstream pick here, but going on the road, winning at Tennessee, Reed Shepherd again making his case for National Freshman of the Year while coming off the bench. And his biggest competition might be another player coming off the bench in Rob Dillingham for Kentucky to go get that win in Knoxville. Super impressive. Jerry Palm's going to update his bracket overnight. Gosh, it's hard to argue against Kentucky as a 4 seed at this point after winning in Thompson-Boling. I would argue this was the most valuable win of the day. I don't think any team got a more impressive win. Yes, I would rank Kentucky at Tennessee over North Carolina doing it at Duke, but those are my three biggest winners on an awesome Saturday.
Well, I'm only going to pick one, and I'm going to pick Utah State, which won its second ever conference championship and first outright title in a thrilling game with New Mexico on their home floor. They got the court storm, and I suppose I'm not a big fan of court storms, but I'm not gonna get on Utah State for that one. It's a great season. Danny Sprinkle has to get National Coach of the Year consideration, considering he came to Utah State and not one player who scored a point for Utah State last year was left on the roster. He built this thing from scratch and went out and won the regular season title in the best year ever for the Mountain West. So Utah State is my big winner on the evening.
Yeah, Coach Sprinkle, you and your co-host Gary Parrish on the Ion College Basketball Podcast, you talked about it at length about him, Coach Sprinkle, getting Coach of the Year, National Coach of the Year respect, right?
Yes.
And that's something that's really important as you see these coaches develop their programs. Okay, now we've covered the winners. How about biggest loser from Saturday, Matt?
There's a couple of decent nominees, but I'm going to throw a team out there that I think is not as firm of a tournament team, and certainly whose resume I think deserves further criticism. Palm has been very much keyed into this team, of course, and it's TCU. So the Horned Frogs lose at home to UCF, and they are sliding majorly down the stretch here. So right now, TCU's resume overall, it's problematic. 7-11 in the top two quadrants, 4 games under 500 in the top two quadrants at this time of the year is a major, major alarm bell for me. Only 2 quad 1 wins, and as Jerry well knows, this is among the very worst high major non-conference strength of schedules out there. I think the Horned Frogs are flirting with real fire if they do not win at least 1 game in the Big 12 tournament. So on a very busy day, easy to overlook that result. Didn't get that one past the goalie over here. I think that's a very notable loss and a big loser on Saturday.
Yeah, because it's crazy, Jerry. We'll get to you in a second. It's crazy because you have UCF, a team that's really battled the top-tier teams like Kansas, like Houston, but for TCU to lose to them, you know, it's not boding well for their tournament chances. I'll tell you that. You're right exactly about that. Now, Jerry, who is your biggest loser?
Well, TCU was on my radar as well, but I'm going to stay in that league and go with Kansas. Kansas, I mean, they got killed at Houston. Houston basically returning the favor from what Kansas did to them when they visited Fog Allen. But the reason Kansas is the big loser today isn't so much the result of the game, but the fact that they lost Hunter Dickinson during this game a separated shoulder. It's going to get an MRI on Monday. We don't know what the outlook is yet or his prognosis. But if this is a long-term injury, this is devastating to a Kansas team, first of all, to lose one of their best players, but secondly, a team with very little reliable depth to lose this player in particular. It doesn't really bode well for them making any kind of NCAA tournament run should Hunter Dickinson miss extended time with this injury.
And now let's move over to the SEC. Tennessee projected as a #1 seed on your bracketology, Jerry Palm, going into Saturday. But after they lose at home to Kentucky, even despite Don't Connect going for a 40-piece, Matt, what does this do for their chances to grab a #1 seed?
Well, I think it makes the debate for it more compelling. Hopefully, as someone who loves the sport and loves when we get to this final week and we're jockeying, we have no drama with the other 3 1 seeds. Jerry, you had Carolina recently, and then Tennessee obviously rightfully jumped to the 1 line, and then we had this interesting development on Saturday. Carolina goes on the road, beats Duke. Tennessee can't get it done at home there. I think it's pretty close right now, and it feels like this can be something that can go all the way till next Sunday, right before the bracket, because if Tennessee were to make the SEC title game, obviously there could potentially be something on the line. We will know as a heads up with this. You see the Tennessee resume here. It's the 1 seed in the SEC tournament. Carolina in the ACC tournament, that always wraps up on Saturday. So we'll have to wait and see, Jerry, obviously, whether UNC can win the ACC tournament, if it gets to the tournament final, if Tennessee gets to its tournament final. I think I would narrowly right now, have UNC on the 1 line, but I'm up for a debate and can certainly be swayed the other way.
Well, I still have Tennessee on the 1 line, and it just has to do with the overall quality of their wins. But Carolina also has very good wins. And, it's funny, they have a head-to-head result. Tennessee lost at North Carolina earlier this season, so that could come into play if the committee can't decide any other way. It's not like college football where head-to-head really holds a lot of sway. College basketball, not so much, and especially when it's a home winner. But I think that if one of these teams wins their conference tournament and not the other, that team will definitely be the 4th #1. But I agree, it's down to these 2 now with Arizona losing tonight. And it should be an interesting battle that carries deep into next week.
Yeah, so a lot of eyes are going to be on Tennessee and UNC going forward. Okay, so Saturday we had so much college basketball, but there's still more college basketball on Sunday. So, Matt, what's your top matchup to watch on Sunday?
I'm leaning into my love for the mid-majors, and we have an auto bid situation. We have 3 of them coming on Sunday. I'm going to give you the A-Sun Championship because this conference tournament has been outrageous. It's been Mountain West level entertaining. And what we have here is Austin Peay playing against Stetson, which needed a borderline miraculous comeback to overcome 10th-seeded Jacksonville. Here's the deal. Austin Peay has a decent history for being a mid-major program. Stetson has never made the NCAA tournament, so not every year, but in frequent years because of the size of Division I, we usually get at least 1 team into the field that's never made it before. I love those stories. Stetson, coached by Donnie Jones, I'm picking them to win, and I think we get an awesome one coming down on Sunday in the A-Sun. I think we have a program that starts dancing for the first time in school history.
I'm going to go ahead and pick a bigger school than a major conference game. I'm going to pick Illinois at Iowa. Iowa has been playing better of the last 3 weeks or so and has played themselves onto the bubble. But now they get a shot at a top 4 seed in Illinois, an Illinois team coming off a home loss to Purdue, where their chances for the Big Ten title went away. And Iowa has a chance to get one of their best wins of the season and some momentum into the Big Ten tournament, which they will need to do well in if they're going to be an at-large team in the NCAA tournament. But boy, that would be a real feather in their cap if they can beat Illinois on their home floor on their way into the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah, the Fighting Illini cannot take the Iowa Hawkeyes unappreciated, right? They got to take them seriously. Matt Norlander, Jerry Palm, we appreciate the time as always. March Madness is here in full swing. All right, here we go. the CBS Sunday lineup. 12 p.m., we've got the Women's Big Ten Championship game. Then at 2, the Missouri Valley Conference title game. And at 4:30, we've got Michigan State taking on Indiana.